Hey guys, welcome back to another Surgical Tech Tips. This weekend I've been sick for the past few days, and I thought what better video to make this weekend than to talk about being sick and working in the healthcare field, or not working and calling in, and when you should call in. So let's go through this. So let's first start off with the major saying for any medical care worker, and that quote is "first do no harm." I forget the Latin for it. It's like "primum non nocere" or something, or "nocere," but first do no harm. So do no harm to the patient. If we come in sick, carrying some sort of bacterial infection, strep throat or something like that, and we're passing it on to our patients, that's not helping them, that's harming them. So it's tough because the culture in medicine, especially for surgeons and doctors, is kind of like self-sacrifice. You have to be there for your patients no matter what, every single day, rounding on them, operating on them. You're there for your patients. And nurses and techs kind of feel the same thing, to a little bit lesser degree, but we are focused on kind of self-sacrifice and sacrificing a lot of our time and health while we're working on these patients. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. Now, working in the OR is all about efficiency. From a charge nurse's standpoint, that nurse that's sitting there at the front desk organizing that board and moving cases around to different rooms, that nurse is centered around efficiency and making sure that all of those cases get done in a timely manner. If people call in, it throws a stick in the wheel, and it's hard on them. So it's really, really tough to be a medical worker and call it. You feel like you're a piece of crap when you call in. I know I feel like I'm a piece of crap when I call in, but I shouldn't feel that way. But it's hard because I do. I feel like I should be there to assist with the cases, and especially if I know the schedule the day before and I know how busy of a day it's going to be, it is so hard for me to call in sometimes, even when I am sick, just because of that reason. So I want to share with you my rule of thumb for, the severity of my sickness as to when I'm calling in. Obviously, if it's something as severe as like throwing up and diarrhea and, massive fevers all night long, I am not coming into work. I'm sorry, but I'm not coming into work. I've been at work when I've been in the middle of a fever, and it is absolutely horrendous. It is horrible being scrubbed in, doing a case, and running a fever at the same time. It's just horrible. So those types of sicknesses is when, I'll be calling in no matter what. But, if I just have like a nasty runny nose or a sore throat or something like that, something that's not nearly as severe, I'll take some tissues, I'll stuff them up my nose, put my mask on, and scrub in. Sometimes you get those runny noses, and it's just like a faucet turns on in your sinuses, and it just keeps running and running and running, and that's the only sickness you have. I'm not going to call out for that. Just stuff some tissues up there. I call them my nose ponds. I just stuff them up there, put my mask on, and do the case. Now, as far as the surgeons go, I've worked with a lot of surgeons that work through their sickness. And again, this kind of goes back to like that ultimate sacrifice. That's kind of putting like ultimate sacrifice over patient safety. If you're that sick, you really shouldn't be operating, because you're at 80% of your skill level when you're sick and running a fever and all that stuff. So it's hard, and I think it's a culture change that needs to happen, especially with surgeons, and not just completely focusing on, efficiency and sacrificing themselves for their patients, but really focusing on patient safety and making sure that they take breaks because they don't have anybody else that can do their job. You know, there's other surgeons out there that obviously do the same thing, but their patients are their patients. So it's a little easier for nurses and techs because we have other people that can do our jobs too and relieve us. But when it comes to them, you know, they actually have to cancel their cases. They have to cancel their patients if they're sick. And I have seen it happen a couple times before. I've seen both spectrums, you know, a surgeon working through their sickness and a surgeon that actually cancels like an entire day because they are just bedridden with sickness. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below on what you think about sickness in the OR. I know there's a lot of studies out there that share about how it's not a good thing to have a cold or some sort of bacterial infection and coming into the OR. But share with me your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully I'm not sick anymore. Bye.